Welcome back, YouTubers, to my channel of An Everyday Life of an Aspie. If you haven't been following me right now, I have been doing the mental health series basically based on everyday disorders, or shall we say everyday mental health conditions, for people that like me, to create an understanding and awareness no matter where we're at in life, so that hopefully we can understand the everyday signs, symptoms and whatnot, so that hopefully that we're prepared for the worst or the better, regardless of whatever one they're suffering from. Obviously we need the right support network as well as the right frame of attitude in mind. And also the purpose for the series that I was hoping to address of these were obviously similar to the very beginning of what I have been sharing in my channel, if you have been watching from the very beginning of it, which is just to remove the stigma and people's mentality and assumptions about everyday, conditions that they come across, that they may be lacking of the everyday understanding and lack of knowledge and whatnot. So that's why I'm here today, to try and share with everybody about my life experiences with my conditions and all the like, so that hopefully that we can just build together a relationship between us, and also just hopefully just to be aware that, no matter what, that there is help along the way. So without further ado, basically, I'm up to part 12 or 13 right now of the series of the borderline. Sorry about that, guys. It's just some sort of distraction going on, but that's alright. There's people come and go in this place of what's going on. But what I was saying was basically, with the right people around us is important. So basically, in the last piece, before I continue, I was talking about how to help someone that you know of, be it your family friend, companion, or whoever the case may be, knowing the signs of BPD and how to help them to make life easier for them, just real short and brief, as well as maybe how to help yourself if you had BPD, just a few, key points just to address to you all that is really crucial. So in this part, though, this is basically based on relationships with people that suffer from BPD, and basically how to make life easier and to be understood, obviously. So therefore, basically, the question comes down to, of this channel, this part of the series, is why BPD relationships are so complicated. So if you know of someone and you care about someone, with BPD, it's easily said and done. But also, I wanted to put a disclaimer out to you all before I start this part, as well as many other times I have, that I'm no medical professional. I am just a normal everyday young female that has been through certain everyday situations, as well as, everyday health, disorders that I have been bringing up. Some I may not understand clearly, but I'm still learning to this day like everyone else. Basically, some of the tips and advice that I might give to you may not be, of value to you, but I humbly apologise. Just take it from a grain of salt and just maybe, see if it works for you, of certain treatments and therapies that I may have brought across to you all. And also basically, if in doubt, when you see these warning signs and whatnot that I have addressed to you all, basically maybe seek professional help. The sooner the better you get the help, the better the outcome for you in the long run. So, to be continued right now is, as I said, why BPD relationships are complicated. As we know, if we care so much about some people around us, no matter who it may be, basically, we need to keep some of the facts in mind. So the 4 key facts I want to address to you all while we're addressing this is, first one is, to help your family member, you must help yourself first. Obviously, that's another one key rule sometimes, where it is important that we need to look after ourselves before looking out for others sometimes, because obviously sometimes if we love someone so much and dearly with this condition, or just anything in general, basically that, we should come first before that one, so we can obviously give our all. Because obviously, with all this in mind, with the physical health, mental health, emotional health, and the health of our relationships, based on our, family, friends, co-workers and the like, it's really important, depending on the willingness for us to actually look after our own needs, though. Such as taking time away from the situation or from the areas that is involved in that particular environment of the people that suffering from different mental health disorders. Setting some limits with love and having a hearty life of your own, separating from our own, borderline family member. Number 2 is you can improve your life even if your family member doesn't seem to want to change. Basically, right now, as you probably feel maybe trapped, confused, not knowing where you're going right now, you know, you feel probably powerless. It doesn't have to be this way all the time, but at least to the extent right now, you know. And number 3, basically, is it takes only one person to finally change a relationship. Yes, I know for the fact that many people hate this word change. I was one of them once upon a time. Then I realized not right now in my life that if I don't change for the better, you know, no one else can do it for me. And also with change, there comes a point, what are you willing to give up, and what are you willing to actually do for yourself to change, regardless what it is. Everyone needs to change somewhere in their life. Change is good, because obviously also in a relationship, when certain things change, be it the person or just things in general, you know, we can be able to hopefully relate to one another one way or another. You may think right now your family member, co-worker, friend, your loved one that you're close to has the power over you to make you feel and do things that you don't want to do and feel, you know, and this is the wrong way about going about it, how to go about it. And when you take more control of your actions and decisions to be true to yourself, the dynamic of your relationship will obviously change. I'll share more basically on the change in the relationships or certain situations later on in the piece, hopefully, of what I'm talking about if you really want my understanding and viewpoint on this. Number 4, most borderline behaviour isn't deliberate, however. You got to remember, people with mental health disorders, it's not their fault to have that disorder. They didn't obviously ask for permission or what have you just to get it slapped on them. You know, many people tend to think, you know, as I said before, if you've been following from some of the series about like the self-harm, especially, about how some people just may use it as an attention-seeking behaviour or cause. But then again, you know, it's not. Some of it can be a cry for help, some of it is just what we can do, okay? Without the education about BPD or any other disorders out there, family members take their family members' behaviour personally, especially if the BPD is of the higher functioning invisible type, okay? This leads to much unnecessary suffering because BPD behaviour isn't willful. Think of it this way: why would anyone choose to be in a situation that makes them angry, unhappy, otherwise in distress? Okay, to be continuing on this of why relationships are complicated with a BPD sufferer is some features of borderline personality disorder strikes at the heart of what makes us able to have good interpersonal relationships. Some of these are as follows: low emotional intelligence. We know there's one or more ways to be smart. In addition to the kind of intelligence I'm talking about here, you can measure yourself on an IQ test. There's emotional intelligence. Okay, obviously emotional intelligence is all about measuring about, obviously hence the word emotions, and both your own and those of the people around you. You're using that knowledge to guide your thinking and actions. As we know, knowledge is power. What we do with that knowledge is up to us. It's like what I said before. We have the power or the freedom to speak. But then again, you know, if we have too much of that, you know, power and authority to speak all the time, you know, you tend to question, you know, how is these words or what we say and what we do may not mean what we're trying to say, regardless, and some of it can be used against us in one way or another. So we need to obviously tie ho. Sometimes I've noticed this, and some people, you know, even though I can't change and point the finger because obviously they need to go through it themselves. Another part there is many people think BPs don't have empathy. Okay, bipolars, I'm meaning here. They do, it's just that their own emotions are so intense they can be oblivious to the emotions of those around them. They're like a drowning person who grabs onto a would-be rescuer and pulls them down. Okay, most of us will be the rescuer or whatever in the relationship, you know, and to the point where we need to be aware of what needs to be dealt with. Okay, number 2 for this, to be in mind of the features I'm talking about in this, is impulsive aggression. Impulsive aggression is what happens when the other shoe drops, when the eggshells break. In the emotional roller coaster, taking that 180-degree turn. As I said, it is a roller coaster ride with people that are BPD sufferers or the like. It can be triggered by immediate threats of rejection or abandonment, paired with frustration. The aggression can then turn inwardly by self-injury, suicide, or turned outwardly by rage, violent act of, just using the fist, verbal abuse, and domestic abuse. Impulsive aggression is associated with the biological tug of war between the logical and emotional aspects of the brain, in which the logical side loses. These aggressive tendencies can be inherited. Think of impulsive aggression as a borderline, a ferocious beast that it's encaged when BP's emotions are trapped and so strong and overwhelming that they can't seem to get out, It is not exclusive to BPD, but a component of several impulse control disorders such as intimate explosive disorder. Whether or not the borderline is turned inward or outward, it is one of the top barriers keeping BPs and those who love them from developing the close, trusting relationship each partner yearns for. It's going to be tough, but try to hold fast to the notion that your family member or, co-worker or whoever are not the one at stake, and they're just the same. Another 3 is rejection sensitivity. Obviously, people with bipolar disorders obviously take rejection really hard, basically. And with that, it comes to the fear of abandonment, of basically, fearing abandonment. People with BPD are really overly sensitive to rejection, as I shared. They actually wait it out if they can, see it out when it isn't there, and overreact to it whenever it's there or not. This is why small slights or perceived small slights can cause major messes. Right. Number 4 is the childlike characteristics. Okay, which is the last one I want to address to you all. People with BPD may seem mature as any other adult in social or professional situations, but when it comes to coping with strong emotions, they can be stuck at the child developmental level. The sadness may be similar to why a child might feel at being left out by other kids. When angry, it could be the anger of seeing outrage at a parent's refusal to let them attend a party, as in, you're ruining my life, quotation. There can be a childlike, ever-present vulnerability personified in this, like Princess Diana or Marilyn Monroe, both of whom had many classic BPD traits, which obviously is really, really strange when you think about it, but obviously, like I said, we need to be aware. So basically that ends about the BPD disorders of the relationship, why it's so complicated. Give me the like for the thumbs up and engagement. Comment below if anything I missed out that you may feel to address to us all so that we can learn it from each other. Also follow me on Twitter, AspieAnswersAll, as well as Facebook. Basically, private message me on there as well. Also, subscribe if you haven't done so, because I'm hoping to do weekly vlogs, even though I'm behind in some part of this, but that's fine, hopefully, like I said, this week will be the end of the week, as of the following Sunday, which is the end of the month, to try and share with you all what I can of this, to bring it out there. Hopefully, it shouldn't take too long. So, no further ado, guys, thanks for watching, thanks for your support, love what you do it what you love, share the love. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others. You never know who's suffering far worse than us. So, till next time, I'll see you all again soon.